right, 5th grade, so now that we have our self-portraits, we are going to start adding some color. We are going to be using pastels. These are different than oil pastels. Pastels are pressed pigment, so these are going to be much more chalky. Oil pastels are pigment with obviously oil included, so they're much more smooth. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your color wheels to find analogous colors. Analogous colors, if you remember, are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So if I decided I wanted to use yellow, I would have to use the few colors that are around yellow, which are yellow, orange, orange, yellow, green, and green, right? Those would be the colors that I can do with analogous colors. If you have a hard time figuring out analogous colors, it's easy to just kind of stick with either warm or cool colors. If the color wheel is hard for you to read, then just either stick with cool colors or warm colors when you're in each space. So what I mean is maybe your face can be one set of analogous colors, your hair can be another set of analogous colors, and your shirt can be another set of analogous colors. So what we're gonna do is I have my pastels right here. I'm gonna look at my color wheel, and I'm thinking maybe I wanna do blue, so I can do the colors that are next to blue. And I think I'm gonna do this for my face. Pastels are a little bit different than oil pastels. When you're using them, you don't have to fill in the space completely, because in a minute I'll show you how we're going to use liquid starch to kind of spread out the color. It gets much more chalky. I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of dust kicking up, so just kind of be aware of that. It does get a little bit messy. You want to fill up the space as much as you can, but again, if you leave any tiny, and you hear me say tiny, if you leave any tiny white spaces, I'll show you how we're going to end up covering those up. So it's not a huge deal if you leave tiny, tiny spaces. So right now I'm just kind of filling up my face with different analogous colors. You don't need to press too hard with these. With oil pastels, we've learned that we kind of have to press pretty hard to get some good color payoff. This is a little bit different. You don't actually need to press very hard to get some nice color. Now, if you notice that your paper gets a little dusty, don't blow on your paper, because it ends up kicking up, it ends up moving that color around your paper. If I blew it, it would blow that dust and leave kind of like a haze of color over here. What I actually end up doing, and I'll just kind of show you over my little oil pastel tray, what I actually end up doing is I go to the trash can and I just kind of turn it over and just tap, tap, tap. That's what I do. And it just kind of taps off any of that extra dust that's kind of coming off. So now I'm gonna pick a different set of analogous colors for my hair. So I think maybe now I'll do the orange, so I can pick these few colors that are around orange. I have dark orange, light orange, red, yellow, and I can start filling in that space in my hair. All right, and now I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue with those analogous colors on my shirt. And then I'll do a different set of analogous colors on my little overalls. All right, now I'm gonna go back in with a different set of analogous colors in my overalls. All right, so now I have my picture all colored in. I've used my analogous colors. Now we're going to use our liquid starch to kind of make this look a little bit more like paint than chalk on our paper. So what I'm gonna do is you're gonna use your finger, and I like to kind of pick one color to start with, so maybe I'll start with yellow, and I'm going to just start rubbing that liquid starch on my finger on that yellow. You need enough liquid starch, you can kind of see it work. It kind of turns that chalkiness into a liquid, and you can kind of move it around to fill up that space. And you will know if you don't have enough liquid starch on your finger because it won't really move that around. It'll almost even kind of pick up the color, which you don't want. So make sure you have enough liquid starch on your finger. You can see I'm doing all of my yellow spaces first, so then I don't have to wipe off my finger in between. And I'm also kind of overlapping, making sure the colors kind of run together so there's no white spaces in between colors. Okay, so I finished on my yellow. I'm gonna wipe off my finger. You can wipe it on a damp paper towel. I have a wipe right here next to me. And now I'm gonna go on to my next color. An important thing about this though is do not rub over on the black lines, because this, even though that is a permanent color, this liquid starch can kind of wake up that black paint and it will move it around. So try not to put your finger over the black paint because it'll kind of muddy up your really nice bright colors. All right, now you can see my finished, I finished my pastels. It's still drying, but you can see now that there is no white spaces inside my body. Next time we come to class, we will focus on our background. So make sure you don't add anything in your background. You can see I stuck with my analogous colors. My only exception, if you don't want to stick with analogous colors, is to do rainbow order. So now in this one, you can see I did rainbow order. And the reason why rainbow order is an exception is you're basically always doing analogous colors in rainbow order. You're never putting colors that are on opposite side of the color wheel next to each other, because you can see I start with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. And then once I got down to, and I kind of did the same in my hair where I did it backwards. So it's pink, purple, blue, green, yellow. And then into my shirt, I kind of did analogous colors with red, orange, and yellow. And then in my overalls, I did analogous colors with just the cool colors, green and blue. So those are your options while you fill in your face with color.